Hello, everybody. How are you out there? I think there's probably a lot of people watching. You're at home. There's a lot of doom and gloom out there. But I wanted to talk to you. I'm with a good friend of mine. This is Marko Kepi. He is a candidate for the New York State Assembly. And we're together because we just finished filing his petitions. And the reason that is because the petition window has now closed. Today was the last day. Usually I have till the beginning of April, so everything is shutting down. And there is a lot of bad news out there, sort of scary news. But I was talking to Marko, and we came up with sort of an idea. As the campaign shuts down, Marko was thinking of a way to get people involved. There's been a lot of people contacting me here in Brooklyn and Bay Ridge. I know there's a lot of people contacting you in Staten Island about how to get involved, how can we help. For example, some of the elderly people that might need groceries, or in most cases, most of the people that have contacted me, and I want to thank all of you out there, how can I help? How can I get involved? How can I be of assistance to someone in need? Someone who's alone, someone who's elderly and family isn't going to be in Brooklyn or in Staten Island when sort of things begin to shut down. So Marko Kepi, he's a good friend of mine, United States Marine, glad to have you here. I'm not going to shake your hand. We're trying to do social distancing for right now, but go ahead, Marko. Talk to us.
Right, so I'm here with Liam, obviously, and we were talking about how we can help those in need, those specifically those the elderly that have no one to basically go out there for them, help them if they need to pick up groceries or whatever they may need. So basically, we thought about creating a link. We have a lot of volunteers from our campaigns that now are messaging us, calling us, saying, "Hey, I know the campaign stopped for now, but how we can help the community, in these times of needs." So we put up a link out there. It's right there in your description link if you want to click and register. It's basically to get enough volunteers, so once people start calling us that they need to help their grandma or their grandpa or whoever in their community, so we have enough people to go around basically and help those in need, whether it's pick up their groceries or whatever the case may be. And if we can't help them, we'll coordinate with different local community groups and elected officials' offices and see what help they need, so we can at least direct them the right place, so they have the information that they need in this time where it's kind of like a chaos out there. So one thing I've learned with the United States Marines is that when everyone's in panic, the thing that they teach you in training is how to act during panic, during chaos. And what we learn basically is how to be calm. In those times that you have to be calm, do not panic, do not overreact. Just basically take it one day at a time, one step at a time, and be proactive, be positive, be happy. We're gonna get through this, all together. So yeah, we're here to see what we can do to help our communities.
Thank you. One of the things also I want to thank, I've been in contact, speaking of some of the other groups, the local state senator here, I've reached out to him. He has put some information out about Bay Ridge Cares. Ian Evers, Christina Rubio, Mike Arena, so many of you who have reached out to me and offered to help. We have a form for you to fill out. And working with some of these other community groups, hand in hand. This is not a time to be partisan.
Correct, yeah.
Democrats, Republicans are coming together, and so I want to thank the senator, Bay Ridge Care, some of the other people. And what we're saying to them and what we're saying to all of you is, if we can fulfill a need, we'll do it. If we can't, we'll pass that off to another group. And if that group has a need that can't be reached, for example, on your side of the bridge in Staten Island, then we'll do that as well. So I think really kind of coming together and coordinating our efforts is the best way. And filling out that form is really important. I also think it's important that if you're watching this live now or after it records, please share this video. Share this video if you live in Staten Island. Certainly if you're in Brooklyn, especially Bay Ridge, where I'm based and where you're going to be spending some time. So that's the information we're trying to get out to you. Look, we're going to get through this. I think we want to say it's not all doom and gloom. And I want to tell the story that there are a lot of people out there like Marko who, thank God, are trained, the United States Marine, people that are going to be there to take care of us, to make sure that we get through this seamlessly.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes what people mostly need is information. And, if you get nothing out of this video, at least you get some information. Like today, for example, I was on South Beach behind Staten Island University Hospital, where they have the first corona testing site for the Staten Islanders, and we have the number here. And basically, if you want to get checked, you can. All you have to do is call this number, 888-364-3065. It's important that you know that you can't just show up there. You have to call first, get screened, and then they will give you a date and time when to show up. So you basically need an appointment. Once you get there, you just follow the law enforcement that are placed around the site. You have the state troopers, you have the National Guard, and just follow the orange cones, and you have to keep your windows rolled up the whole time until they tell you, to get out of the car or roll down your windows. So if you know anyone that's sick or that needs help or that needs to call a doctor or somebody, this is the number that you call. Again, it's 888-364-3065. This is for Staten Island only, and you call, you make an appointment, and you get tested, and you get seen. So it's important that our constituency knows that, hey, everyone's here working together. There's no party politics going on right now. This is about helping each other, helping your neighbor, helping your friends, helping your families. So we're all here basically sticking together as we have in the past as New Yorkers. We've been through so much, and we overcame everything. And this is just one of those hurdles or challenges that we have as New Yorkers that we're still going to overcome.
That's a good point, Marco, and that makes me think of a lot of the different sort of struggles we've gone through as New Yorkers. I remember 9/11. I was in downtown Brooklyn when the planes hit, and I saw our response. During Hurricane Sandy, I worked for Congressman Grimm, and I know, any type of situation that hits you, you have to really mobilize, put whatever operations you can together very quickly. And I think a big part of that for me was sort of learning how to deal with an emergency situation. And I know you as a United States Marine are trained in that, but I think us as a community are going to begin to learn how to deal with this and come out of this stronger. And I think that's one of the things I hope that you can talk a little bit about. Like, we're dealing with this now, we're going to get through this, but the question many people have out there in our community is, what are we going to do to strengthen our healthcare system, our infrastructure? What can we do? What are some of the things we can do? And hopefully, what are some of the things you can do as a New York State Assemblyman to help us going forward?
So one thing we need to do as a state overall, and that I will try to do my best as a New York State Assemblyman, we need to basically rebuild our infrastructure, how we get quicker to places. Our hospitals, for example, we don't have space.
Right.
During the attack on World Trade Center, that was basically one of the best things that the city of New York had, that
Right.
Hamilton Army Base, because it was able to move goods and troops and people and volunteers quickly around the city and mobilize. And if we don't have places like that, it's going to be very hard to overcome certain challenges.
Right.
So places like Fort Hamilton Army Base, we need to fund, we need to help grow, we need to help rebuild, and we need to help keep active, because they will be, the ones that are our first responders basically in these situations.
Right. And I know we have Victory Memorial Hospital, which is sort of changed into an emergent care center. But we do have Fort Hamilton. We do have some of these other buildings in place. Some of this existing infrastructure, that it's good to hear that you're going to try and work with the existing infrastructure to kind of protect us going forward. So we all know these are sort of uncharted territory, a little scary times, but to have a plan going forward is nice to hear. And I'm glad you're talking about that. And since we've been talking about it together, I want to put it out there so everybody can kind of hear this message. Let's talk also just quickly before we go. What else can you do to sort of help the economic recovery? Because I think we're talking a little bit about, now I'm not a doctor and a disease specialist. They're out there. We should listen to them. We should do everything sort of they say. But in terms of the economy, in terms of rebuilding what we're going to see, whether it's a recession or a depression, what can you do going forward to help so many of the small businesses, so many of the families that are losing income right now? What are we going to do to rebuild our sort of economy going forward? And I think that whoever gets elected, hopefully it's you, can go forward with that plan.
Well, again, it goes on everybody not to go to work.
Mm-hmm.
So our state they have an emergency plan for certain things like earthquakes and whatnot. They have to have another emergency plan for our small businesses in case of another disaster like this happens. How are we going to help the people pay their bills? How are we going to help the people, have a safe peace of mind at the end of the day that, hey, you might not be going to work, but the government has a safety plan for you until the disaster is over.
Right.
So those are type of things that our state legislators should really plan ahead for the future, disasters or whatever we may have coming up next.
That's really good. And hopefully if we have some relief, tax relief and some spending in the right way, to sort of give incentives to business to grow this economy, hopefully we can come out of it stronger. That's hopefully what I'm hoping for. The one thing that scares me on top of sort of the virus and some of the stuff going on is sort of the economic implications. But I'm glad you're addressing that.
Yeah, I mean, as United States Marine, they train us in many ways, and a lot of times they give you different scenarios and different plans for each scenario. If this scenario happens, what's your plan? If this scenario happens, what's your plan? So as a state, as a country, we should have similar things, similar training with our communities or elected officials. So
Sure.
based on the scenario, you need to have a plan that's adjusted for that scenario.
Right.
So at the end of the day, when something happens, we're prepared. We're ready to go.
Right.
We don't have to wait and keep people in panic. And the best thing in a situation like this for the people out there, don't panic. Like I said before, take it one day at a time. Stay calm. Stay positive. Be happy. We're gonna overcome this.
We're gonna get through this, right? So it's not all doom and gloom out there.
Correct.
And again, just to remind you, if you do want to help, Marko has put together a form, right? I believe it's linked on your page. I'll be sharing it. If you're watching live now, you can comment, and whether I see it or you see it, we'll get back to you. We're going to have some time in our hands now. We're certainly we're going to separate. We're going to keep a lot more social distance, but we're going to have time at home to kind of go through these emails, go through some of these messages, and respond to you and try to coordinate that. And again, I want to thank you, Marko, for whether it's Albanian Roots, whether it's your campaign, sort of bringing all those people that we're helping now that this petition process is over and putting them to good use. I think it's a great idea. And I want to thank all of you out there. You know who you are, all my friends, all the people in my world. A lot of people that helped out with the Will and McCabe run have asked how they can help and get involved. So I think a great way, the first step is let's coordinate. So my team, your team together, fill out that form, whether you need help or whether you're willing to help. So that's kind of the positive information on this. I think, as Marko said, we're going to get through this, and we're going to come out stronger for it, right?
I agree 100%.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
So, air elbow. Thanks a lot, everybody. Bye-bye. Please share the video.